Live. Good evening. Are we live? We are live. Meeting is now streaming live on Facebook. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. We are Annie and Mindy. Welcome to the Annie and Mindy show. Today is a great day, and we want to share some wonderful things with you. So I'm Mindy, and I'm talking to you live from Israel. And my counterpart here,
it's Annie Callis from Melbourne, Australia, and I am just so grateful for all this amazing technology that we have, that we can stay connected to each other. You know, I mean, I would prefer to get on a plane and fly all the way to Israel or vice versa, I know. But either way, this is just so amazing. And this is one of the most amazing things that kept us sane during this whole lockdown and for the last 9 months and all the things that have been happening. So I have to say, I'm in absolute gratitude. So should we talk about that today, Mindy?
yeah, baby, one of my favorite subjects, gratitude. It is a wonderful subject. And more than that, today in the United States is Thanksgiving. So it is a day of gratitude that the Americans have every year. It's one of the most celebrated holiday, I think, in the United States, where everybody goes home. And you can probably tell from my accent that I'm an American. So even though I live in Israel for over 30 years, we here in Israel also celebrate Thanksgiving. But because we don't live there, we live here, we have the privilege of choosing which day we're going to do it. So our home celebration is going to be on Saturday night when it's convenient for everyone to come over. All my American friends come over with their kids, and we have a really big party. And I am grateful for it. I am really grateful for it.
I just want to say something, Mindy. Your sound a little. Sometimes it goes a bit. So stay closer. Don't go back. Stay closer.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, see, that sounds great. But before you went back, and I'm going, oh, I want to hear it all.
Okay.
But can you actually explain? Because it seems like Thanksgiving is a much bigger holiday and celebration than Christmas.
It is.
So do you want to explain what it is about?
Thanksgiving, it's a purely American holiday. It has nothing to do with religion. So it's bigger than Christmas because Christmas only includes the Catholics and Christians. But Thanksgiving includes everybody, the Jews, the Muslims, the Christians, the Hindus, whatever. If you're an American, that's a holiday you celebrate. It actually the foundation of it is from the Pilgrims, the settlers. They're called Pilgrims in the United States. When the settlers came over from Europe to the United States and started settling there, the story goes that they actually, started to farm and they needed help, and it was a dangerous time for them. So they got together, actually, the Pilgrims, the settlers, and the Indians got together after a harvest, and they helped one another, which is a really great story. I'm not sure that it really happened, but it's a great story that they actually worked together, worked through the harvest. The Indians helped the Pilgrims, get used to the land, see what kind of crops can be harvested there so that they can eat and live and sustain themselves. Little do they know what would happen later on, but I want to say the gratitude of it. So it's the coming together and celebrating the harvest and having a big meal to celebrate that, the togetherness and gratitude for the abundance that the land is giving. So purely American. It's such a big holiday that, if you live, America's a big place, like Australia is a big place, but I think it's more populated and more settled. So people live all over the place. And when you go to college like far away from home, and generally you stay far away from home. But on Thanksgiving, everybody comes home. It's like you go to your hometown where you grew up and you see your friends and you play American football and you watch TV and friends and family come over, and it's a long weekend. So Thanksgiving is on Thursday. Friday there is no work, and Saturday there's usually this big football games on television. So you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday that is just family and friends, and the weather's a little cool outside. You play football, and the leaves. If you live up in the northern part of the country, the leaves are all falling or changing colors, and it's just really a happy time. Hard time to get flights because everyone's going home. but it's a happy occasion. And I guess that's why out of all the traditions that I had from America, that's one of the traditions that I keep up with, even though I'm here in Israel, because it's a fun family, friends time. And to be grateful, today you and I are in personal development, so I do gratitude every day, but not everybody is like us. So a day that you're just dedicated to being thankful, I mean, that you even have to think about it, even if it's just for a second, between your cooking and eating, it's a wonderful thing.
Hang on, I just have to close my door because there's somebody. I've got a friend that's staying with me, and she just got a phone call. So, hey, Chris Klasu. Oh, he was what? Hey, Chris. Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Welcome.
Wow, this is a surprise. That's very nice. A friend of mine, Chris. Wonderful.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess I have been watching over the years all this Thanksgiving always coming up, and in the movies, and now that I have been to the States for so many times, I have a lot of friends and they all celebrating Thanksgiving, and I'm just like, man, I tell you, I would love to experience an American Thanksgiving in America. I would love to experience that.
Well, maybe we'll have an opportunity to do it together. For many years, I wanted to go back home with my kids for Thanksgiving, which it doesn't turn out because it's in the middle of the school year. It's a little bit of a difficult time for us, but to go for Thanksgiving, be with the family, and then go to a football game. That's my dream, to take them to. Like, I grew up. My dad my father passed away, but he was a graduate of West Point. It's a military academy. It's a pretty prestigious school in the United States. Not everyone goes. There's only 2 people per county that can go there. Anyway, the West Point is not really very far from where I grew up. And every fall, when we have the American football season, we would go up on Saturdays to watch the Army games, to go watch football. So it's like at the end of the season, the end of November is the end of the football season, normally, not during COVID times, but normally it's the end of the season, and there's a really important game that Army plays against Navy. It's a really big game. It's like the Army-Navy game is like it's an iconic game every year that they play. So my dream is to take my kids, go to Thanksgiving, and stay there and go with them to the Army-Navy game, which would be very cool. So what we did this year, it's COVID, but there's good things that come out of COVID that we can be grateful for, right? On Thanksgiving, is that there's no audience for sports right now, but the sports is going on. So, and also college football, not all leagues in college football got to play, but some did. The Army-Navy game this year, they broadcasted it live, which was really good. They had no audience. It was a small game. I don't remember what it was, but I was with my kids here in Israel, and I think it was last week or the week before, we watched it on TV, the Army-Navy game, live this year, not live there being in a stadium with 100,000 people, but live from our living room, which was a lot of fun.
Oh man, that sounds good. I actually would love. I'm not really into football or anything like that, but I would love to actually go to a game that represents a particular country, right? Like, say for example, if I would go to England, I'd love to go to well, we call it soccer, but in Europe is actually football, because it is football, right?
Yeah.
And I just love to go to experience the feel, like they all sing and they chant and the whole thing. And then I remember a couple of years ago when we went to one of our events with Blair, we were in Phoenix, and Steve and Linda and oh my God, who was the other guy? Oh, I can't remember right now. But we all went to a hockey game.
Oh, nice.
Well, to me, that whole game is not about the hockey. It's never about the sport. It's about the girls that dance, and it's about the interviews, the cheerleaders. Thank you. And it's about the you know, the interviews that they do in a crowd, and the music, and everybody is dancing, and all the kiss cam and the this and the that. I just thought it was a full-on party. I'm going, you kidding? What happens to the game? And the game finished, and I'm going, oh, there was a game, because there was so much other, so full-on entertainment. It was amazing, right? So I thought I'd love to go. I'd love to go and see a baseball game. Not, I think it'd be really boring for me, like cricket over here, but I think just being in there, and I'd love to see the gridiron, right?
What's the gridiron?
Sorry?
What is the gridiron?
Isn't it called gridiron? No, gridiron is another game. That's the one where they have this thing and then they throw. No, that's gridiron. I actually want to watch a proper, is it NFL? Not NFL.
Football, American football.
American football, but there's another one called gridiron.
Maybe.
And that,
I'm not a big sports person.
And that one, actually, I think I mixed it up. They've got this thing and they throw this ball and they run. It's crazy.
Crazy. Right? The sports is very cool. Now, I'm not a sports person myself, but I am, I guess, because I grew up going to American football games, college games with my dad, which was so much fun. And my son, you know, is a soccer player. So I do soccer since he's 6. I do a lot of soccer. I'm a soccer mom. So for his 13th birthday, you know, in Israel we have, or Jewish religion, we have something called a bar mitzvah. When the children come of age, girls at 12 years old, boys at 13-year-olds, it's a big celebration. It's called a bar mitzvah. So for his present for his bar mitzvah, I took him to Barcelona to see a game, to see a soccer game of Barcelona. And it was Barcelona. It was part of the European League Championship. It was the 8th, I don't know what you call it, the 8th round to the finals. So Barcelona was playing against Milan. It was their second game. The stadium, when you talk about a stadium, the stadium in Barcelona, it has, I think, 96,000 people, and it was full. It was full. Can you imagine the energy of 96,000 people hyped and singing and chanting and cheering? And, you know, Messi, Leo Messi, he plays in Barcelona, and he's like a super big icon. Because he's great. I mean, he's super talented. He's young. He started young, was talented young, and has the golden ball that they get, you know, best player. He's got it a lot of times. He's got a lot of times.
Yeah, Messi, yeah.
So your people are in the shouting, Messi, Messi, Messi. And you got 96,000. Well, I guess the Milan people were not shouting it, but maybe 50,000 people shouting at the same time, Messi. And you feel it going through your system. You know, there's like the literal vibration of things going on. It was so amazing to be in that kind of energy, that power energy. The game was great also, but being with my son there and the power of the stadium and the excitement, you know. If I connect that with gratitude, you know, when you have a group of people getting together and they're in this very, very high energy, you know, state of mind, and let's say it vibrates you and it gets into your system, whether you want it to be there or not. And actually the same thing is true for gratitude. If you get a group of people and you get them into the process of thinking about gratitude, it actually permeates into the people around them, to their environment, not just them itself. It's actually such a high frequency, literally a high frequency, that it permeates into your environment and uplifts your environment, creates a higher energy, a higher frequency in your environment, creates people who are happier and without them even knowing why. It's a magical kind of energy. Gratitude is a magical kind of energy that really is permeating into everything. You know, there's a guy named Archer. What is his first name? He wrote Big Potential and the Power of Happiness.
I do have the book somewhere.
Archer. I'll have to get it. But what he did one of his studies. You know, he's a Harvard researcher. He studied under Tal Shachar, which is an Israeli who was a professor in Harvard that started the whole positive psychology aspect, happiness studies in Harvard University. quite a few years ago. So Archer, he took on, and he is now one of these really very, very famous people who studies, happiness. And he takes it into the business world, not just in life itself. And he wrote two really, really great books that I know about. I think maybe even three. Big Potential is one of them. The Something of Happiness, I forgot it also. But anyway,
do you know, I actually think I have that book, in pursuit of happiness.
In Pursuit of Happiness, I don't think that he wrote that. It's
But
The Happiness Secret or something like that.
okay.
I'll get it for you. I'll get it for you. But anyway, what he did was he went to one of the big companies. I don't know whether it was Facebook or Google or like a really big company, and he was asked to come in to see if he can improve the human resources, make people happier at work, because he's a happiness professor. That's his job. So one of the things that he did was, over a 21-day period, he had people showing gratitude to other people, sending messages, not even a verbal, it wasn't even necessarily a verbal thing. It was to send an email or a text message or a WhatsApp message, 21-day, each day, 3 people, just to say how you appreciate them, what you are thankful for, that they are in your life. 3 people. And the research shows, after he did it, he's a scientist. So he studied it and he documented the data. He looked at the data, and the data shows that the people who were giving, he didn't talk to the people who got the notes, but the people who wrote the notes, they were happier at their work. There were 3 people to send gratitude to 3 people, short notes, 21 days. They were happy at their work. The work environment as a whole in the institution, whether it was Facebook or Google or someplace else, was higher, and productivity went up. Productivity went up. So think about that. Your gratitude, you're sending it out, the energy you send out, that's proof of how it permeates into your environment. It creates a better, happier, more productive, more focused environment. And that's probably one of the reasons why, not probably, it is one of the reasons why you and I learned, and we do it, to start off the day with gratitude. And I think everyone who works in high performance, not even just in happiness, every guru there is, mentor, researcher in high performance, puts in today, maybe it's new agey, but the science proves that it's correct, puts in today gratitude into their daily routine.
Yep. I'm actually taking notes because I'm loving this. So I'm actually thinking, how can I apply this to the work that I do, the couples work? And for days, this is so interesting. For days, I see, in all the different social medias that I'm on, I'm seeing all these different gratitude things and things that people can send to each other, and I'm just going. So I just came up with, I should do like a 21-day challenge, gratitude challenge for couples, right? So 21-day couples gratitude challenge.
Okay.
So because one of the things that I have noticed with couples is that they forget to be grateful for their partner, right? And the things that their partner do, because it's a daily thing, and we get so used to just, we just do it. So we take it for granted. And then people say, oh, you take me for granted. No, I don't. Yes, you do. Both of you do it, right? I did it when I was in a marriage or in a relationship, because it's a part and parcel of being in a long-term relationship. Yeah. But if you consciously start to connect to, and especially when they get to that resentment stage, like, are they going to, get to a point where they can really be grateful? No, because I'm pissed off. I'm not grateful. But if you actually make yourself to make a commitment, okay, whatever it is, for 21 days, let's try it. I would say that things would change. Because once you step into doing the exercise, you have to go into your heart. You can't stay in your head. You actually have to go into your heart and say, Okay, I say I love this person. Okay, so what is really actually good about this person? And you'll find it.
Sure
And that
will.
can shift things. And on a personal note, I know when I do gratitudes in the morning, and I have my days when I go, I'm not grateful for anything right now. I'm cheesed off. I didn't sleep well. I got pissed off by somebody yesterday. I'm not really grateful. I'm annoyed. All right, let me just do it. It's part and parcel of my daily thing. When I get to do the 10 things that I'm grateful for, by the time I get to number 5, there's a shift. By the time I finish the 10, I'm like, yay. And I feel that it's almost like it's a light switch, and I feel the change. So it's a powerful thing because it becomes a conscious thing of going, okay, stop the negative and look at what's good in your life. Because we have things that don't work, but then there are things that do work. But we so easily go to the things that don't work because
Right.
then we can be victims and whine about it.
Yeah. But I'll tell you
And
something. Sorry. Continue. I
no, no,
interrupted.
no. What did you say?
I was going to
Yeah,
say
go on.
that it's not physiologically, maybe it's psychologically. I don't know how it works, but you cannot be, your mind cannot be in gratitude and in fear or anger at the same time. It is totally, completely impossible to have those two emotions at the same time. So, like what you said now is doing it intentionally at any time. If you're feeling fear, frustration, anger, all those negative types of emotion, that switch that you talked about is start to say to yourself things that you're grateful for. You know, I even started doing it sometimes when I was angry at an individual, at a person. I would start making a list in my head of what I'm grateful of that person, not just in life, but I'm grateful of that person. And then the anger or the fear or the frustration disappears. And, you know, when energy goes down, intelligence goes up. When emotion goes down, intelligence goes up. And the opposite is true. When you're in fear and anger and frustration, your intelligence goes down. So just start doing the stuff in your head. Gratitude, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for this. And you cannot be in the same, you can't be in the same state at the same time. Gratitude totally wipes out any kind of negative emotion immediately. It is a light switch. It's like an immediate thing if you do it for real. And it's, I might have told you the story of the gratitude exercise I gave my daughter and then myself.
No.
Can I share it with you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So when I first heard this theory, and it was a theory, right? That if you're grateful, you can't be afraid. It was really at a time of my daughter was in the army, and she had to do. She was the beginning of her army service, and she had to do a night watch. She was a guard in a night watch in a stand next to the ocean. She had to be looking out at the ocean. So she was all alone on the beach in this army booth, whatever it is, high up there. And she had to stay awake all night and look out at the ocean. And she was scared shitless. She was scared, you know, all by herself there, and she was scared. So I remembered, and she called me, and she's not allowed to call, but she called me up on her phone, and she called her father up on the phone, and she was scared. So someone had just told me this, and I said, you know, Lita, why don't you try this? You know, because they told me that they can't coincide together. So she did it. I mean, she was scared shitless. She would do anything, you know, just not to be scared. So she started running off with a list of gratitude in her mind. I can't say that the fear totally went away, but she did calm down and she was able to spend the night out there without killing herself, you know, without totally freaking out. Okay. So, wow, that's interesting. So there must be something to that. The next time I'm on a flight, I don't know where I'm flying, but I must tell you, I've been flying a lot since I am young, you know, in high school, a lot, and I'm afraid to fly. But I fly because what are you going to do? The world is a small place. I need to get to other places, and I fly for business. I fly for personal development. I fly a lot, and I was always afraid. So after her little experiment, I was on a plane, you know, a little bit of turbulence comes in. Usually when there's turbulence, I start my conversation with the creator. Oh, please save us. Please let us be safe. Please let us get to where we need to go. Please, you know, every time there's like a little bump, I'm begging, I'm begging that we just get to our destination safely and soundly. I had this whole mantra with a discussion with me. And so if my flight is 12 hours, it's 12 hours straight, discussion going on and this pleading and going back with this mantra. So, okay, let me try this. So instead of having my discussion, my mantra with the creator, I started making a list of all the things that I love, that I'm grateful for. And I'm grateful for this, and I'm grateful that I can fly, and I'm grateful that I have a destination, and there's people there, and I'm grateful that someone's watching my kids, and I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I'm grateful for life, and I'm grateful for my grateful. After a while, I fell asleep, and it didn't matter whether it was turbulent or not. I didn't wake up, and I slept, and I had a really great flight. And this continued. I must have done it 2 or 3 times consciously, in intention. And now, I haven't flown in a long time, and I'm going to knock wood that I hope that it continues. But I lost my fear of flight. I lost it. It came to a point that after a while, there would be turbulence on the flight, and I wouldn't have to go into gratitude, and I wouldn't have to have this big conversation with the creator to keep us safe. I just relaxed into it, and it totally changed. It totally changed my belief system. And it wasn't practicing it 50 million times. It was maybe I did it 3 times. Maybe I did it 4 times consciously. And then, a whole fear of flying that is, I'm 54 years old. I was afraid to fly for many years, on many flights. And it's like, shoot. So gratitude is super, super powerful. Start your day with it. Think about it. Use it to, calm yourself down, to consciously change your emotion, change your state. Tony Robbins is all into state. Change your state. Change your state in a second by just starting to list. I'm grateful for I'm grateful for our conversations. I'm grateful for my office, my beautiful office. I'm grateful that it rained all night and we have water for our plants, to grow and cleans out the air. I'm grateful for the roof over my head and my relationship with my children and my friendship with Annie and Blair Singer and the training. I can go on and on and on about all this gratefulness I have, and it just lifts me up. Like I feel big, because of it. I guess today I was on a rant.
No, that's okay. But that's the thing about gratitude, is to look at what, and I can tell you during this whole COVID thing and lockdown, it was the thing that kept me sane, right? Because living on my own, being locked indoors, not going out, like we had pretty severe lockdown here in Melbourne, and it was mindset was very important, and one of the key things was doing the miracle morning, and the gratitude is part of it. And the more every time I was doing that, and I kept adding things to it, I started rewriting my goals. Mm-hmm. And stuff started happening, and I'm like, wow. So especially when I when I got very deep into what I was grateful for, and all of a sudden all this stuff started popping up, and I was like, this is surreal and it's unbelievable. So gratitude is very, very important, being thankful. And, like some people say, when I start coaching certain people, and then first session, I bring in the gratitude exercise for the rest of the program. So when they do 6 months with me, like they got to do gratitude for 6 months every day. Well, what do we do gratitude about? And I go, well, what are you thankful for? I don't know. Okay. How about the air that you breathe? Oh, yeah. Okay. How about that you woke up today? Oh, yeah. So I go, at this point, you don't need to embellish. So for anybody who's watching this, and if you want to know how to start it, just write. We have a whole process, right? But for those that just starting, literally just write down 10 things that you're grateful for. And to start with, your home, your car, your bed, your air that you breathe, the birds that are chirping, the sunshine, the rain, you know,
Your
what else?
delicious coffee in the morning.
Food, coffee, warmth. 10. That's it.
Health. Did you say health?
And tomorrow you do the same. And the day after you do the same. And you do that for 7 days, all of a sudden you're going to get bored to rewrite the same thing, and then you're going to start expanding. And before you know it, you might find yourself writing 3 pages. And not only you're in gratitude, but also you're going to start creating, because your mind is going to open up, and so will your heart. And all of a sudden your gratitudes will be like, oh my God, I saw my friend, da, 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 and it was so great that he was so this, and then it becomes a journal. Yeah. So there's no hard and fast rules. It's just about sitting down and doing it. That's the only rule. Sit down and do it. And I know sometimes when I don't write it, I mean, I pray, so that's my way of gratitude and stuff like that at night. But when I write it, there's this, I don't know, there's this psychological thing, like all your states, your mind, your emotions, your physical being, there's a connection between all of this. And when you write, it flows onto a paper and just feels so beautiful. And the great thing is I don't usually go over it, but sometimes my notebook falls open on a page, and I have a look and I go, oh yeah, look at that. Right?
Good job, right? Shoo. Energy goes up, sky high.
And I also know, I know that I wrote about this. Where did I write it? I know I created this in my gratitude. Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah, that's where it is. And then I go, there was this, and then there was that, and then there was that, and then there was that. So it's everything that's within you is in that notebook. So it's great to have a gratitude notebook that you can write all this stuff in. Yeah. How is this? Check this out. How grateful. We're starting Date with Destiny. You're right. So I received this. I am so grateful. Do you know how heavy it is? There's so much stuff in there. But how is this? Because you should be getting yours. Look at this. It's a little notebook. It says, change your story, change your life.
Oh, I love it.
Right? So it's a gorgeous, gorgeous notebook. It comes with a pen, a Tony Robbins pen, and it comes with,
yay! Love it.
I have more. Look at all of these. These are from all the events. So we've got these ones, and then I've got, this is so funny. So I got that one.
Nice.
I got that one. I got that one. Look at all these. I got this one. When I coach, I keep them on my table. And then if something happens with the clients and we do the celebration, where is it? And the clapping, and I go, yay! And I go, are you sure? Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. You're 100%? Yeah, I'm 100%. Yay! So all this creates that great feeling, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, gratitude is awesome. All right, so have we done our I think we've gone way over half an hour, haven't we?
I think we're just a little bit on a half hour, maybe 35 minutes.
You and I could talk about gratitude forever.
Forever. I think you and Annie can talk about anything forever.
Forever. But I want to finish with this. I have this new couple as clients. So today was session number 4, right? So I'm working with them on their relationship, but more than anything on their relationship with themselves, right? And from day 1 to 4 weeks on, every time I turn the computer on, it's a new version of them showing up.
Wow, amazing.
Right? And, I asked that question, what do you feel like saying? And today she said, I'm so happy. I'm loving this work. I love what I'm learning from it. I'm so grateful. And she said thank you to her husband for undertaking this course. because he made the decision. He's the one who reached out to me, and she said thank you to him.
Wow, beautiful.
That was like, sometimes, I sit there and I go, because I'm such a mush, right? And I don't want to start crying at every bloody session that I do. But there are those moments where my heart just jumps with joy, because this stuff works.
It's amazing.
It works. And they started with gratitude. When we started the first session, I said, right, first thing, gratitude. So they're doing it regularly. Maybe not every day, but at least 4 times a week, right? And it is amazing what it does, because it opens their heart. It's just amazing. Amazeballs.
Amazeballs. So everybody be grateful, consciously, with intention. Show your gratitude, speak your gratitude, write your gratitude, and create those new neural paths in your mind. And you will be happier. Your environment will be happier. You'll get more done. Life will just be really great. And good things will happen to you as well. So wishing you a very, very happy Thanksgiving, whether you're in America or you're not in America. Lots of gratitude to you. Annie and I are grateful that you are here with us watching what we're doing and being part of our community. Love you, Oodles. And Annie, I love you, Oodles.
Love you back, Oodles. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And again, and we say this every single time, if there's a topic that you would like us to talk about, this whole Annie and Mindy show is about just sharing what happens in our lives and our experiences and what we're learning, with the intention that it will open something up for you, or will help you with something. So if you do have questions, make sure that you ask, and we would love to address it. So thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.